business is the approval of the minutes from the April 2nd meeting. Seems like a month ago. When you're ready to take a motion on those minutes, so.
Motion to approve.
And a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion or comments on those? Seeing none, Commissioner Allen?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. All right. All right. There's from time to time there, some things, not that everything's not important, but some things are more pleasant than others. And we have a moment here tonight that I would like to read a couple of proclamations. And the first one we've got is a pretty special tribute and proclamation honoring one of our own citizens here, Mr. Jerry Bond. Where is Jerry Bonds? Was born in Franklin County, right there, good, okay? Where else here is, it doesn't matter. No, I really enjoy doing this, so. Jerry Bonds was born in Franklin County on August 8, 1938, one of 11 children of Maddie Louise Bonds and Zoe Carlson. And whereas Mr. Bonds was a total member of the Madison County Rotary Club over 25 years ago, and has been an instrumental leader in the club's now famous ramp building program. And whereas Mr. Bonds is also an active businessman and entrepreneur whose first job was working in a chicken house for 50 cents a day. That's right, man. Right. Later operated his own marine boat motor business and was more recently involved in real estate development in North Georgia. And where Mr. Bonds began breeding and showing golden and silver sea bright chickens in 1982, as raised champion birds, and in February 2018 was honored for his work by the Sea Bright Club of America at its annual national meeting. And whereas with an always keen eye for opportunity, Mr. Bonds made one of his best decisions in August of 1957, when a double date fell through because the other girl's date couldn't make it.
Got that right.
He decisively asked her out himself, after chivalrously taking his own date home early. Married her in November of that year, and they've now enjoyed over 60 happy years together.
Right. Awesome.
That's a proclamation of my success for that. And whereas Mr. Bonds is also an active member of Liberty Church, the same church where he was baptized at the age of 12. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Madison County honors Jerry Bonds for a life of boundless energy and tireless commitment to his work, family, and fellow man, and expresses its appreciation for his many contributions to the Madison County community. So resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on this 30th day of April 2018. And at this time, I'd like to entertain a vote from the board to approve this proclamation.
Make a motion that we honor this Jerry Bonds proclamation.
Second. All right, have a motion and a second. Before we go any discussion, Commissioner Strickland?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. Yes, please. I do. We'll go ahead and hand that to you there, sir. I have one other thing for you as well, though. All right. I understand you have friends in high places, and at the urging of Senator Frank Young, we have man. So I'm going to read this top part. It's I don't want to mess this up. This is State of Georgia by His Excellency Nathan Deal, Governor, Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy and the militia thereof, to the Honorable Jerry Bonds, greetings. Whereas reposing a special trust in your patriotism, valor, and fidelity I do by these presidents, constitute and appoint you Lieutenant Colonel, aide-de-camp, Governor's staff. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, sir. I got a lot of my family's here, and the preacher, and got an aunt back yonder, and how old is she, Mary?
95.
95 years old, thanks for that. And she come all the way to Atlanta. Yeah, her and Richard and his wife all drove from Atlanta today to come out here to be him.
That's great.
Yeah, where was it? It's a great honor for me.
Yes, sir. You want me and him or just him?
Both of them.
Well, listen, I don't want to. Now, I like this. Hold on. Oh, you want us all up here? Please. We got a minute. I think we got time, y'all. They want us all. Come on. Jim, Jeff, come on up here.
About your family?
Might have to do one and then the second one, just in the interest of space here.
Yes, sir, it's getting wide.
Back it up, guys.
Okay.
I got it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
I tell you, I really appreciate it.
Daddy, stay out there. I want one of you and Mama. Wait, Mama, you need to go. There's a woman behind here.
That's right.
Don't follow on, right?
All right.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, we'll get remarried while you're up there.
Well, I can't cut for 3 weeks for him to propose for me before.
All right. That is good stuff. All right. Folks, I have one more proclamation I'd like to read, and this is, so we had our individual efforts. I'd like to really focus on an organization this time. This is Proclamation Rotary Club of Madison County Ramp Building Program. Whereas the Rotary Club of Madison County was chartered on June 29, 1990, as a part of Rotary International, an organization now composed of 34,282 Rotary clubs located in 200 countries, totaling 1,220,000 members worldwide. And whereas in 1990, the Rotary Club of Madison County, in the course of its Meals on Wheels service, recognized the need for handicap accessible ramps at homes of disabled citizens of Madison County, and the lack of state or federal resources to build such ramps. And whereas the members of the club therefore began a ramp building program that year, seeking donations and holding club fundraisers for materials expense and personally donating their time and labor for construction. And whereas the Rotary Club of Madison County will construct its 700 handicap ramp in May 2018. And whereas this represents the construction of over 2.5 miles of ramp with an estimated value of over $700,000, all provided to disabled citizens of the county at no cost to the individual. However, the citizens do make donations for materials when they're able. And whereas in the course of this program, the club has successfully enlisted financial support from, among others, the Francis Wood Foundation, Trust Joint Warehouser, Jackson EMC, AT&T, and Madison County Hardware. And whereas a milestone was reached in 2008, when the club established a foundation with a $100,000 beginning balance for handicap programs in the county, as a permanent fund similar to the International Rotary Fund, which will allow the club to continue its mission to the disabled in our community for many years to come. And whereas the ramp building program's impact has grown far beyond the borders of Madison County, with the club facilitating the establishment of similar programs in Gainesville, Elberton, Jefferson, Winder, Franklin County, Oconee County, tremendous positive impact on the lives of persons in its home community and beyond, thereby exemplifying the highest standards of Rotary International. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Commissioners of Madison County hereby commends the Rotary Club of Madison County on its accomplishments and expresses its sincere appreciation for the service and leadership this club provides to our community. So resolved by the Madison County Board of Commissioners on this 30th day of April 2018. And with that, if I can have a motion, we'll approve this proclamation as well.
So moved, Chairman.
I have a motion and a second, and with that, take the vote to Commissioner Pepper.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Thank you, and another job well done to the Rotary Club. Please, come on up here. There you go.
If I get a picture with Mr.
Oh, no, I'd like to. I'd like to.
Mr. Roy has been Jerry's sidearm man, but these two have certainly done a lot in our community, and not just in Rotary, but we're so thankful that they're part of our organization, and this recognition means a whole lot to our club, so thank you.
Smile, Roy.
All right. There you go. Thank you again, Anthony.
Thank you, Anthony. I might not be back.
Well, you're not coming back at all. Thank you for your service. Always a good thing. Thank you for your service.
Now, can I have y'all just get into the meeting, or?
Yes, sir, if you need to,
What I wanted to say was, Mr. Roy and me, we worked together all these years. We was one that started together, and we've been together all these years in the ramp program. Me and him one that always heads it up. He always sends out the stuff. I look at the ramps, and he sends it out. We work together on the ramps. Ain't there none ever built it. Both of us ain't there. And I appreciate him. When we got in the Rotary Club lots of years ago, when we started, then I become know Mr. Roy real close when he started getting the boat business. I was in the boat business right up the road with him. And so he started getting in the boat business, and I started coming over and working on his boats. And me and him got real close to that. And then I was working on his stuff, brakes, motors, and all, Mr. Jerry Croutons. I was helping all of them on the motor business. And Frank always said when I would go over there and he'd have a problem, he would say, all you got to do, Jerry, is rub your hand on this boat and it's going to run all right. He about right, I didn't take much. But Mr. Roy, I appreciate him, and I tell you what, I appreciate working with him and all the years me and him put in together. I really do.
You got it.
Can we get a picture of Daddy and Roy together? Will we? Is that okay with y'all?
That's fine.
Daddy and Roy, y'all take a picture?
Mr. Chairman, that's all, the reason I say you got that right. It'll be
Roy,
all right, be all right.
I want to get a picture of you and Roy together.
Come on, Mr. Roy. Come on over here.
Y'all make that look pretty good.
Come on.
That's funny, there's two right there. Oh, no, that's three right there.
I'll bet up Mr. Roy.
Gotcha.
Thank y'all. All right.
Thank you, Bob.
Praise the Lord. As welcome as you can be to stay, but if you would choose to, this might be a good time for those that,
All right.
Thank you.
Before we get started, Dennis, yeah, you're quite welcome. Thank you all for coming out.
Carrie's not with
Information's provided.
No, the always key
You know, sometimes pictures can be taken Mike and London, this way, he must be getting it.
I picked up on that after a while, though, and I'm not sure I was good.
I'm tricky about who I photograph.
Right, you were in some of those too, man.
I didn't try to get out, I was running back, but they were running.
Okay, I don't, we've got several little items here. I don't have anything for the chairman's report tonight, but I would like, if I understand this correctly, Joe Cross, item number 5, we're going to postpone that to a later date. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with item number 5, considering a $10 technology fee for the filing of each civil action and as a surcharge of each fine, we'll postpone that and discuss that perhaps towards the, sometime, at a time and date to be determined. All right. What I'm going to do is entertain statements or remarks from the citizens on any of the agenda items. So those items on the table are 6 through 10. Stan.
Speak on item number 8, LMIG research and projects. And the reason I came here tonight is, as some of you know that were on the board for quite a while, I've been trying to get Beck Road resurfaced. About 3 years ago, actually in front of BMGC, the road just deteriorated. I mean, you go from pavement to dirt. I mean, I guess the trucks going in and out took a toll on that. And then a year and a half ago, I came to this board with photos, and if you've got you've got the photos there, that you can see, and requested that this be paved or resurfaced, and it didn't happen. And I think this past year, I don't think you did a lot on roads. Somebody said you didn't resurface or pave. I thought hopefully that it would happen pretty soon, but it didn't. I never had a problem with the road department. It's not the road department's issue. It's we need to pave that road. They've patched, they've replaced sections of road, and to get to a point where you can't do more. They're not magicians. You can't. And I see that it's on the LMIG, and I'm hoping not only will you approve it, but you'll move it up and get something done. I'm not on the board anymore. I was in a conversation at our barbecue this weekend. I received a call from a bus driver about the issues there, and I told him, you know, I'm not on the board. You need to talk to the people on the board. But it is definitely a problem. If you look at those pictures, I don't think I've ever seen a situation like that. As far as safety, as far as what those people expect. I would hate to think that I drove home from work and dodged all the potholes and the mud and on the edges and everything that you have to dodge to get there, and go to my mailbox and pull my tax bill out and see that they raised my taxes when I had to drive on that. that road it's a crisis now. If you look at the pictures, they tell you exactly what's going on. I mean, it's an issue. And we have 35 partials on this road. We have 24 physical addresses, and some of it's mobile homes, some of it's land. But I pulled 13 pieces of property. Their taxes raised the elevation from what it was last year. This is $275,000 in assessment of value, which averaged about $21,000 per property. Now, that's not all of them are $21,000. Some of them are 3 or 4, some of them are a lot more. But the fact that we have a business there and we need to put an emphasis on our business and keeping our business, but it's just not a good situation. And I ask that I know you're probably going to approve it, because I don't think you could look at those pictures and not approve it, but at least try to move it forward, because this is very vital. This is in your, I'd say, borderline medium to high density area. You're 15 minutes from Athens. It's a pretty heavily traveled road, and I just don't think that represents what we do. Like I said, the road department's been great. They've done all they could. Every time I've ever asked, as 12 years I was on here, they've always done a good job of doing it. It's not a reflection of them. It's a reflection of the money that's going to take to fix this road, where they're not out there patching and doing it. I hope you will consider that when you make your decision, and I hope you will move it. I don't believe in jump, but this is about 3 years we've been waiting on this. This is not a new idea or a new request. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Dan. Everybody else like to make any statement or remark? All right, well then we'll get on to the business. Item number 6 is to consider approving a resolution to cap vital records fees retained by the judge of probate court. All right, would you like to, Cody, would you like to go ahead and, sure. Yeah, please, if you want to go ahead and explain or present.
Okay,
I'll
sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I am actually the custodian of vital records for Madison County. We handle the birth certificates, death certificates, marriage license, all the vital records. As a supplement, like some of the other elected officials, as a supplement to your salary, you're supplemented for taking on these duties that aren't, I guess, mandated by law. So as a supplement, the state says that the minimum amount I could receive for vital records is $7,500, minimum. Some counties compensate their probate judge or whoever's the custodian everything that they receive in vital records. I know for a fact of one that receives a substantial amount. But in our case, since I've taken office, I've always only accepted the minimum, $7,500, and will continue to do so. Handling the vital records requires an extensive amount of training. You have to be able to know who you can give them to, how you can issue them, how to amend them, how to create them. So it requires a tremendous amount of training and knowledge when it comes to that. There's not only laws that you have to follow, state laws, but there's also rules and regulations. But the purpose for this is to put a cap on it. I recently attended a training session, and they said a best practice is to have something in place with your county that specifically addresses that. Otherwise, not that I would be opposed to it, but I could take, we collect probably $20,000 to $30,000 a year on those, and I could take every bit of that, and there would be absolutely nothing anyone could do. It would be totally legal. So I just think that a best practice for the county would be to have this particular cap in place. And not that we may not need to revisit it at some point in the future, because I'm going to tell you, as of it stands right now, I would venture to say that the vital records part would substantiate one full-time person in our office. That's how much time we spend on those vital records. It actually takes a lot, and I spend an awful lot of time on them as well. So, but I just ask that you consider this resolution and vote in favor of it and put a cap at 7,500.
Chairman, if I may,
Sure.
do the counties that have the big, you know, that they take away more and all that stuff, do they use that as a way to cut their salary that they're paying them? I know that you're a constitutional officer, so you can kind of say what, you know, you have a minimum salary, but I didn't know if that was, I was wondering if 75 is that, because you've got it on here, it's capping it at 7,500, right?
That's correct, and that's what it's been since I've taken office in 2009, and I don't see a problem with it continuing with that. I just want the board to know that if there's not a cap on it, there's nothing preventing me or a successor, if there is, from taking as a supplement every bit of that.
Well, I know since you're spending a lot of time on it, you're going to have enough time to do a quarterly report on it.
Actually, we do monthly reports. We do it monthly, and I think that Mr. Pruitt included it in there because it's part of the law that you're required to report at least monthly. But we actually make a monthly, quarterly, we make a monthly report.
Sure. That's all I've got, Chair.
Anybody else have any questions for Judge Cross? So again, the cap, the state sets the minimum, you're setting the maximum, or you're suggesting the maximum be the same amount?
That's correct. I suggest the cap be set at the minimum of 75.
Okay, and this can be changed at a later date through another board or another board vote on a different resolution. Okay, any other questions on that? So then, I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution capping vital record fees retained by the judge of probate court $7,500.
So moved, Chairman.
Second?
Any other discussion?
No, sir.
Vote goes to Commissioner Isco.
Yes.
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 Thank you. All right, thank you, Cody. All right, next item is, consider the 2018-2019 health insurance policy. We're at a point where we're not to, we're considering renewal, or changing our carrier, and to enlighten us, so we've asked Matt Bidwell if he would come and ensure that each of you should have a packet that has this information as well.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, Matt.
If you don't have a copy, I've got extra copies here.
Got one.
Okay. I'm going to take you through the presentation, just to kind of enlighten on, I call the first page, page 2, that covers page 1, but on page 2, on your left, I always like to remind you what happened this time a year ago. This time a year ago, our premiums versus our paid claims were just at almost 94%. Cigna had requested a 24.8% increase, and we ended up settling with a 15% increase on the insurance last year. So wasn't quite as happy as a time a year ago. On page 3, we'd like to show you what your incurred medical claims are, and your columns, last column are the premiums paid by the county. The total paid claims are in the column next to that, and you can see in the yellow block on the bottom is that the percentage of the claims to the premium was just at 78.63%. What you typically look for in a plan where we try to place the premiums at is you try to keep them somewhere between 80 and 85%. And so what happens is if the overall block of business is renewing with that level, then we can look at a normal trend increase, which is usually somewhere in that 7 to 9%. We're actually running below trend. So last year where we were sitting at 94%, this year we're at 78%. So it puts us in line for a much favorable renewal offer. And so going to page 4, I've summarized for you where we were at. Initially, Cigna came out verbally requesting to raise the rates about 6%. And after looking at the experience, you know, it normally would justify it, but over the last 6-7 months, our experience has actually run quite well. And we did take you all out for competitive proposals, and Cigna came back with what they thought was their best offer, and it was a no rate change. And in light of where your paid claims are at 78%, it's actually a very good offer. It's an appropriate offer, meaning that we expect your claims to go up somewhere between 7 and 9% next year, and you should end up somewhere around an 85% paid loss ratio. So they actually gave us a pretty good offer. Looking at the top line, Bell's current premium is $1,642,704. The employee contributions are $151,894, so your net spend is just under $1.5 million. Did everybody follow that okay, across the top line? We received from Blue Cross an offer very similar to your current plan. That offer was $1,603,565. It was approximately 2.38% below your current plan. Now, the way you all currently have two plans, you have a high plan and a low plan. Your payroll contributions are set on the least expensive policy, and if the employee wants the better policy, they have to pay the difference. Well, in Blue Cross's situation, they gave us physically a lower premium on the least expensive plan, so that meant that the employees who were buying the more expensive plan had to pay additional premium. So while the plan designs are very similar, Blue Cross prices the base policy a little bit less expensive, and as a result, with Blue Cross Blue Shield, that same plan design would cause the employee contributions to go from $151 up to $179. But the net spend, by the time you get over to the far right column, is that if indeed you all were to make a change to Blue Cross Blue Shield, the billed premiums are about $39,000 less, but the actual payroll deductions are actually about $29,000 less, so your actual net savings by moving to Blue Cross would be just about $67,000. Blue Cross has a little bit different pharmacy plan, and under the pharmacy plan, you all currently have a $150 deductible on tier 2, 3, and 4 drugs. Those are going to be your brand, your non-formulary, and your specialty drugs. But final offer from Blue Cross actually put a $300 deductible on it, and that's why the premium is about 3.67% less. And then obviously the payroll deductions would go up substantially from what the employees are currently spending now, $151 up to $206, because that is your base plan. And so there is the ability to generate a little bit larger savings there. I just want to warn you that most of those savings are actually coming through the payroll deductions and not actually through a premium reduction. Cigna wrote you all's dental last year from Blue Cross Blue Shield. Blue Cross actually had an increase on the table last year. We're getting a 4% increase from Cigna. The dental is a voluntary benefit. The employees pay the entire cost of it. They would see their annual payroll deductions go from $76,000 to $79,000. Blue Cross came in and matched the current rate because they would like your business back. So we actually had a very competitive time with both Cigna and Blue Cross. Cigna would like to retain your all's business. Blue Cross would like to get your business back. And so the other item here is the vision. Again, Cigna has a very competitive voluntary vision plan. Blue Cross, again, put forth a very competitive plan trying to match up with that. So, with all that being said, I've got the details on the following pages. I'll be happy to go through them, but I thought I'd maybe stop here and see if you had any general questions for me on what you've seen.
With all the stuff with Blue Cross Blue Shield, Piedmont, all that renewal they had to go through and all that, when is Cigna going to have to go through the same?
Actually, that question was asked. They've got another 3 years on their contract.
3 years?
Yes.
And then, if we go with the other plan, if people are having less taken out of their check, is that what you're saying, for the deductions?
If you were to make a change over to Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia, what the employees pay for the insurance would go up.
So they would actually have more come out of their check?
Yes, that is correct. Currently, they have $151,000 annually being taken out, and the move to Blue Cross would increase it to $179,000.
So the county's saving money, but county employees or not. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to figure.
Yeah, if you look at the real premiums in the first column,
Right.
your renewal with Cigna is $1,642,000. The Blue Cross renewal is $1,603,000. It's about a $39,000 real difference. Generally speaking, when we start to see premium differences between 4 and 5%, they really start to grab your attention. But Blue Cross, they did come in and they gave us a lower rate.
Dental went like $3K, something like that.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I know y'all hate to hear this, so I'll just say it. Open enrollment is scheduled for next Thursday, and we really do need a vote on this tonight. It's the same as last year. Just so you know, we get these things like on April the 15th, and we have to market them, get replies, just to get back to y'all. So we only work so fast on these.
How many total people were on our plan?
We have about 100, on that page that has your experience, there's 175 employees. And you have about a total of 205 is men, women, and children.
That's right.
So you have 175 employees with attendance.
You're talking about $200 a year on average.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, about
And if we go up, their deductible on their pills and things like that will go up by double too, right? If we go.
Well, if you change the Blue Cross
Right.
to the plan that's, shows the largest level of savings, where the employees are really gonna get hit is the level 2, 3, and 4 pharmacies. The current deductible is $150, that's gonna go to $300.
Yeah.
And that's why the
I'm worried
premium,
about that too. You know?
I mean, it's a big deal.
We're trying to recruit people here.
Yeah, I know. That's the reason I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, that is, the reason we try to show you, options that we see a lot of other counties looking at, and it is, pharmacy is a big expense right now. I'm not saying that's something you need to do this year, but, we can get your costs down, but on the same token, you gotta understand it. The way people pay for insurance, way employees pay for the insurance, they pay for it either through higher payroll deductions or through having the higher deductibles and higher co-pays, or like a user fee, but.
Last question I got, are there any costs for the county when it comes to, say we were to switch over to Blue Cross Blue Shield, sending out cards and things like that, or Blue Cross Blue Shield's gonna take care of all that?
There's no cost to the county.
No cost of that on that?
There's nothing to say too, but if we didn't do this, some of the constitutional officers, they could raise the pay to cut the difference. So it could cost us either way. I'd say leave it alone.
Is there any other, as far as explanation, any questions that Matt might be able to address?
The only thing I would like to add, and I apologize for interrupting it, I did want to say this. We currently have 178 employees on coverage, and we have 76 of the employees are taking the base option. So that means we have 102 that are buying the higher benefit plan. And so if indeed you do make a change, most of your employees are under they're under the plan that does not have that RX deductible, and their costs would go up. Most of your employees would see their costs go up if you make a change, is what I was trying to say, so.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm done, I'm sorry.
No, more information is better than less.
Yeah. It's easy to get lost on these numbers here when they're, are you aware of any kind of a contractual arrangement Piedmont has made with Blue Cross Blue Shield? In other words, I know they kissed and made up, but I mean, is there any like long-standing agreement?
It's 3 years.
Is it a 3, so it's kind of standard then?
Sure.
Okay.
These hospital systems are so big, these insurance plans are so large, they have to do business with each other. I mean, they have to.
I think we'll stay with Sigma.
Yeah. I need a motion, Mr. Chair.
And I think one last comment, I think it might bode well next year, when this rolls around, you might see some true competition then, which would be refreshing too. So, Is there any other discussion or any other questions for Matt? We'll vote it if you're not, if you're satisfied.
I'm satisfied, I'm ready for a motion.
Take a motion, you make a motion, to, consider either or for the 2018-19 health insurance.
Yeah, I make a motion that we, renew with Cigna for the 2018, 2019, is that right?
Nope, it is. I have a motion.
Second.
And I have a second. Any further comments on that?
I know Teresa would vote for it. Talking to her.
All right, the vote is to Commissioner Allen.
Yes.
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 Thank you very much, Matt.
Thank you guys so much.
Are you ready, Jeff?
Thank you for indulging us.
Anytime, thank y'all so much.
So what's the next step, just so I know, as far as,
We'll start getting information over to HR for them to approve it.
okay,
We'll tell her she has probably till Thursday to get approved. We'll get, we're gonna try to get marketing, the open enrollment material to the employees, hopefully either by Friday or Monday.
okay. All right, super. Thank you
y'all so
again.
much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Drive safely.
Thank y'all for putting me on.
All right, next up, Mr. Lipinski, consider bid recommendation for 2018 Elming resurfacing project.
Yeah.
And there's a single page, there you go.
Single page, something like that. Got a lot more numbers on it. Big numbers too.
All right,
We opened all the bids and everything else. We received 3, Allied Paving, Garrett Paving, and CNH Paving. You can see all the different numbers going through there and everything else. While it says Allied and County, this is gonna be the actual cost of Garrett County and CNH County. We are actually gonna be saving 7% right off the top if we buy our own asphalt instead of allowing the company, going through the company, because they gotta pay taxes on it. We do not have to pay taxes. So we're actually gonna be buying our own asphalt and everything. So this is not the price that we will be giving the contractor. It is the overall cost what we will be paying out. Everything else.
Okay.
But will you have to hire truck?
No, that company is doing all that. All we're doing is buying the asphalt. It's just going through Madison County. The bill will be sent to Madison County, but they're providing all the hauling and everything else.
Oh, okay. And that's included in this number, is that?
That is correct.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's actually 8 now. Clark County went up.
That's what?
that's right.
8%.
Yeah, they had
I know, there you go.
They went up.
8% tax and everything else right off the top and everything else. I was doing it this way and everything. So, our LMIG application was $947,980 and some odd cents and everything. So we have already spent with graveling roads and stuff like that. We're roughly around 170 spent.
Does that include the 30% match, the 900?
That is all, that's correct. The 70 and the 30, that's the total amount that's got to be spent, correct?
Okay.
So if you add up the numbers down through there and everything else, if you do all the way down through Ed Coyle Road, doing the entire Beck and the entire Ed Coyle Road, it's right at 800,000. I don't know the exact number. I don't know, Ron might have put it on theirs. But it's right, I think it's 803, I want to say. I think that's what it comes to be, and that's 8 miles of road. What we are planning on doing this, we talked to Garrett and everything else. We're doing this, trying to get the most out of what we got and everything else. So on these roads, what we'll do, we'll put a tar treatment down with 89s on top of it. Then it will be a leveling surface that goes on top, try to level them back up. And then it'll be about a 1-inch topping that goes on top of that. So that'll be the process of what goes back down. But in the past and everything else, we have not did the 89, which actually seals what's actually there on the road and everything else.
They help the cracks and all that, right?
Yes, helps the cracks and everything else from penetrating back through some of the other surfaces and everything else. It should prolong the life of what we put down and everything else. Yes. Now, we have done triple surface before.
Okay.
That's what we did on, Mariah Church Road.
Copper Dangerfield.
No, Copper Dangerfield was asphalt.
Yeah, it's sealed, didn't you? Oh,
It did not have-
gravel.
Gravel, correct.
Yeah, Mariah.
Right, Mariah Church Road and Young Harris Road and Outer Hall Rogers Road. Those were triple surface treatments where you got the rumble, it's all rock and everything else. There's no smooth surface on top of it. But all these will go back with smooth surface and everything. On the finish coat and everything else. So it depends on how far down you want to spend, whatever else.
Well, Just totaling all of those, all the way down to Ed's Coral and including Ed Coral, it appears to be about roughly 797, and you said we had 948 roughly?
948, correct.
So we have a balance of 151. How much did you?
We have already run over that.
How much did we do in the gravel?
I'm probably about 170, but 20-something thousand of that was a storm that we had back in August, where we had Oak Bend subdivision, where we had all those pipe washouts and stuff like that. And that was 25-something thousand. That's already included in this and everything else.
So, but in the grand scheme of things, if you did all those, you're still within $20,000 of your allotted illness, which is, for us, that's pretty amazing, I think.
I'm all for this, but I want the board to remember, I ain't asking for much last year or this year, so don't forget, I may not be here next year, but there's some stuff that needs to be done in District 5 next year. So I'm just getting 37,000 than last year.
You just got a 4-lane through your district.
State furnished that.
Well, let's not go now.
Love them state projects.
Chairman, do we have to have a motion before we discuss?
Yeah, what we can do is just, go ahead and make a motion to, approve whatever the recommendation is, those to include, up to and including Ed Coral.
It depends on what y'all want to spend on that. I mean, that's,
Well, Beck Road, we could obviously need to get that done. Alan Dreves.
You recommend Garrett, sure.
yes, correct. That is definitely Garrett's paving. You can see by the cost and everything else on the bottom line and everything else. There's no doubt all the way through.
High is always high. You go back and look at the, other places. Whatever you want to do. I make a motion that we, accept the LMIG,
The recommendation that Garrett.
we had to do this, I don't know, wrong.
That Garrett conduct the paving for those roads to include Irvin, Kirk, Pokey, Clements, Erastus Church, Hunt, Stillo, Kelly Valley, Beck, and Ed Coral. So if that's what you want.
Yes, that's what it is, the whole road, yeah, so moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on those?
That's cutting that $41,420,600 down there, right?
Yes.
It is.
Just using the entire road.
That is correct, yes.
How's that working, Irvin Church Road would go to the top of the list next year?
It would be considered, you look at the cost of that, and if you determine as a board that you want to keep that on the list, that would be for next year's consideration, either way.
It definitely needs
Take it off, I don't want to take it off.
So you got a motion and a second, any other discussion, questions, or comments?
Jim.
All right, well then, we'll go to vote, Commissioner Strickland.
Yes.
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 All right, we got,
Awesome.
Garrett paving all the way through Ed Coral here, then. Super.
Alan, can you hear me?
Thank you, Alan.
Talking to people. What my number is.
All right.
The triple surface, the 89 and tar will be down first, so you might get some complaints for a week or two, because it will not be covered up immediately.
Gotcha.
But
Is that part of
it just kinda needs to,
Sit for a little while.
Yeah.
Will they be driving over that? Will
Tar
it
and
be
then,
road?
clear out a little bit and everything else.
No one-lane roads or anything like that?
no, I mean, as soon as it's down, they can drive on it. It's just, they're
I'll
gonna get a
go
little,
talk to these people.
they're just gonna get a little chatter.
Okay.
They think you're gonna leave it like that and everything else. Reassure them, it will go back out and everything else.
It's not just gonna, but it won't be right away,
Define right away, or right away.
Was that also?
A week or two?
A week or two, okay.
Zach, can you help us with that?
Cut down on some of the other chatter you might hear.
We need to educate our people.
No, thank you, I appreciate that. All right, we got a couple, last items here. Next item is consider selling a parcel of land, county-owned property identified as map 0010 parcel 049 on Jotham Down Road. For those of you who are familiar with, this is at the intersection of Jotham Down Road and Blacks Creek Church Road.
Haggard's Crossing.
Yes, it is. Haggard's Crossing. And, what you have, the information you have provided, and it was as late as, it went out a little less than a month ago. And, there are two parcels. What you have is they'll be sold as a, combined lot of 2.68 acres. And as you see the total, the value on there, what we're doing is we're going out I recommend a sealed bid. We can go auction as well, but we have an assessment of it of $23,391, and I think we suggested a minimum bid, or our assessor's office recommended a minimum of $20,000 as a minimum bid on that. So if somebody has, and I've tried to ask, if anybody has a reason, or if they know of some compelling reason that we should hang on to that. I believe we've owned it since 2013, through a sale, that the house that's on that property is in questionable shape, and so it, in large measure, comes down to a land issue.
It went up in value last year.
Because the structure's still there, by the time you demo it, and it'll go back down. Well, the value of the land will still hold, but we know that, I'm not sure of the status of the well or anything. It's been, like I said, it's been idle, so.
Which is the proper way to do it, open bids or seal bids? Which is more for Mike?
Well, you have to do either seal bids or an auction, so.
Well, which would be the most appropriate?
Well, seal bids would be the most economical for the county, because you'll have to pay an auctioneer's fee to go the other way. Right.
Yeah, whatever your recommendation, we'll take a recommendation to do either, so, I mean, I'm just, I think it's important to return it to the digest, though, at the end of the day.
Let me make an observation here.
Please.
Our tax values went up this last year on structures, primarily. This has been going up since 2014, so not like $2,000, and that would seem like that houses going up instead of falling down. Or is it just keyed in?
I promise you, I put my eyeballs on that house.
Well, I'm saying, it was just keyed in, and the computer raised the value on it, like so many others in the county got done.
And I
just saying, exactly hearing that.
And I couldn't address that. I'm not sure.
Well, I'm addressing it, because that's what happens. You don't look at something, you just hit the computer and it goes up.
And I will in their defense, they did actually physically go out. You can see the photo that was taken on April 4th of this year. And they were.
I'm glad it's going up.
I'm sorry?
If we sell it, I'm glad it got went up.
Yeah, my hope is that it'll gain a lot of value after it's sold. I know I shouldn't say that out loud, but, yeah. So, I'll, accept the motion, however you want to decide that.
I'd like to make the motion that we take sealed bids on this property.
Second.
A minimum of
You want to go with the
Minimum, yeah. Okay, was it 2,000?
That was in play.
So the motion is to, sell this property via sealed bid with a minimum of $20,000. And a second, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Now, is there any discussion on that? All right.
What's the time frame on that? What would the time frame be on that?
It's gonna have a 30-day, right?
Advertise for 30 days?
I'm not, is it 30 or 14? Should I didn't think to, I know.
I didn't bring it with me, but I just don't remember off the top of my head.
The closing occurs within 45 days of bid award.
not less than 15 days or more than 60 days. So if you want to go 30 days, that'd be right in the average of what the law requires.
That need to be in the motion.
No, that just has to be, it has to be published once in the legal organ, not less than 15 or more than 60 before the last date for receipt of proposals. So if y'all are satisfied with letting the administration just work that out with publishing deadlines, you wouldn't have to put that in the motion.
So the motion is to sell via sealed bid, minimum $20,000. Any other comments or discussion? All right, Commissioner Pethel?
Yes.
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 All right. Consider appointing Talmadge Moon to fill a vacant position on the Madison County Board of Family and Children Services. And, let's see, I received a letter from the Christy Daniels, County Director for the Madison County Board of Family and Children Services. And they have a recommendation. They have a gentleman, Mr. John Hoyt Reed, was going to serve for a term that was going to expire June 30th of 2022. He has asked to be relieved of that. The law requires that the county commission appoint a successor within 90 days after that vacancy occurs. Of course, he's waiting to vacate pending the approval of a successor. They have made a recommendation of Mr. Talmadge Moon. And that's, and his term would be serve out the remainder of that through June 30th of 2022. So, recommendation is to appoint Talmadge Moon to fill that vacant position on the Madison County Board of Family and Children Services.
Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Talmadge Moon to fill the vacant position on the Madison County Board of Family and Children Services.
A motion. Or a second.
I give a second.
I have a second. Any discussion, any comments on that?
I don't guess you have any information on Mr. Moon.
I do not. As a matter of fact, this came to us as I believe I'm not sure what the circumstances of this gentleman's request to be relieved, but Ms. Daniel speaks. Evidently, they have information. He represents the county well, and
I called him super nice guy.
Yeah. What's that?
I called him a super nice guy.
So.
I would assume that, I guess it's almost 3 years ago now, all appointments have to be made from a list of qualifications: pediatric health care providers, active or retired, school personnel, active or retired, emergency responders, active or retired, so on and so forth. So I would assume that the DFACS board made sure he was in one of those categories.
Any other comments or discussion? All right, seeing none, vote to Commissioner Eastfield.
Yes.
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 Okay. That, we're on the roads updates.
I've already talked to Alan about ours. We voted on Elmgate, so there's no roads that we.
Any other areas or something that we need to look at?
I talked with, the lady at DOT in Gainesville, at, Shiloh Jones Chapel Road. What is it, 380-something thousand that there?
Actually, the total cost on, just for that widening, I think was if I remember right, 303 total, 303 and change, somewhere in there.
But she don't mind that they're wasting a lot of money. I told her that pave the entire road for that.
We offered.
Well, we can't change our rules and,
Yeah, we offered to do that, and, they were quick to respond that it was a DOT project, so.
and, she also said it'd be, the bids haven't been let yet, it'd be September.
Ooh. Okay, that's considerably later than what I was led to believe, but.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so.
You wouldn't, be on the bill, that would even just take a look at Brickyard Road, that had so much cut through that. No, not for us, but for the state.
I
Doing that thing pretty hard with trucks.
we had a meeting with DOT today, it had to do with the roundabout around the courthouse. There's some, looking at changes or improvements or whatever. Commissioner Strickland was there, at the meeting, as was, several property owners in the immediate area. And Shane Giles was a rep from DOT. He's also the one that has worked with us on that off-system safety grant. And while he was there, I asked him, I had another conversation ago with a gentleman named Harold Mull. He is the gentleman that is more directly responsible for the project on Highway 72, the new bypass. And we confirmed he's gonna provide me a date for the resurfacing. They are gonna resurface the existing or the old Highway 72 East. And they will be also making a few changes. Some of this was not really, I was not aware of it, and I don't think many of us were, but he intimated that the old 72 would have to be renamed.
Good.
Yeah.
East Go Road.
And if you're familiar with the intersection where Highway 98 and the new bypass meet, where we started the
Ribbon cutting.
The ribbon cutting there that day, that is where Highway 98 terminates. From that point, in the Comer becomes 22.
Golden Road.
And the state is planning on re-signing all of that stuff too. So, I asked him about Bridge Road.
They took a beat.
Yeah, I'll certainly do it.
We definitely want to get 72 paid, because it took a beating. They didn't give it a beating, we just.
Yeah, we've done it over the years.
Beef trucks and stuff, chicken trucks.
Grant trucks.
And we're also looking at, Highway 172 is going to be resurfaced, and they're going to be bringing the material into Manico and working from that as a staging area for that. So hopefully we'll see that happen soon. All right, any other?
That bridge on 172, that's not in the works, is it?
It's new.
It's just.
Yeah. The next one on anything DOT is looking at is on Transco.
Transco.
Yeah, Transco and then, old Wildcat, I believe.
Yeah.
All right. Any urgent matters? No? Yes, sir. All right, folks, statement from remarks from citizens. Nothing.
What's gonna be done on 172 is what we're gonna do prior to resurfacing it. They're not actually resurfacing 172,
I saw the patchwork where the different places.
That's actually a high-strength grid for sliding.
Mm-hmm.
On 172, once you pass the fire department.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're gonna go back and micro surface in its tar and 89s. There won't, it's not a
true layer off, yeah.
It's gonna be what basically we're putting down prior to resurfacing.
Gotcha.
Wow. Get ready for that.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of appreciative that they're doing it, and I don't have to pay for it.
Oh, yeah, well, just, nobody likes it anymore.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of things on there that people don't like, and, I think they like this better than the alternative right now, so, we're working in the road department working, they're out there cutting grass like a madman today. I mean, everything's exploding, so
it's growing.
It is. A lot of grass is exploding, so. All right, no need for,
No, sir.
all right. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Have a motion?
Second.
Go to Commissioner.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right, we're done. Thank you all, thank you for your